Freezing fluorescent lights. The boardroom table glints like an interrogation lamp. You can almost hear an empire bending. AD 1985. Men in suits move quietly, while one man, thin, restless, and famously uncompromising, paces the perimeter. Steve Jobs is angry, but this is not a shouting match. It's a chessboard of corporate power, and he has just lost a king. This is where the story of Exile begins. Over the next 8 minutes, we'll go back to the garage, to radical product bets, and to the missteps that turned a co-founder into an outsider. We'll track how personality, product obsession, and a boardroom vote split the company in two. And we'll follow the exile that, paradoxically, forged the path for one of the greatest corporate returns in modern business. The question isn't only how he left, it's why the world needed him to go away in order to come back stronger. In this chapter, I set the scene. Then we will rewind to AD 1976 and meet the people and the gamble that started Apple. AD 1976. A cluttered California garage becomes a production line for a revolution. Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Ronald Wayne don't start a company to make money. They tinker, obsess, and build. Wozniak is the engineer, patient and brilliant. Jobs is the storyteller, the salesman, the man who sees a product as theater. They build the Apple I and sell early units to hobbyists and local shops. The company incorporates hardly before its first real sale. Jobs has a performance instinct, and he learns to shape technology into spectacle. Early success is messy. Apple grows from a garage to a warehouse to a company with real customers and swollen ambitions. Along the way, Jobs develops a posture that will both define and eventually alienate him. Uncompromising design demands, near total control over product decisions, and a willingness to burn bridges for clarity. This mix, magnetic and corrosive, helps Apple leapfrog competitors, but it also builds pressure within a company that has to scale. By the early AD 1980s, Apple is no longer a scrappy hobby. It's a business with investors, complexity, and people who want predictability. That change sets the stage for the clash to come. AD 1984. Apple bets everything on an audacious promise: make computing personal and joyful. The Macintosh project is small, secret, and fiercely defended. Jobs drives it with militant intensity, demanding not just functionality, but an experience, graphical icons, a mouse, and a design that feels human. The launch is theatrical, capped by a Super Bowl commercial that reads like cultural punctuation. Critics praise the vision, and users fall in love with the interface, but commercial reality bites. The Mac is revolutionary but expensive, and enterprise customers stay with established vendors. Inside Apple, divisions form. Jobs' managerial style, brilliant, exacting, and often intolerant, becomes a liability when scaled across large teams. At the same time, a parallel project, Lisa, consumes resources and fuels political fractures. Ambition and execution collide. Apple is both a pioneer and a company that struggles with the business of making radical design sustainable. The Macintosh shows what Apple can do at its best: human-centered technology that feels like a small miracle. Yet, it also exposes structural weaknesses that, unchecked, will lead to the crisis of AD 1985. AD 1983. Apple hires John Sculley, a polished executive from the beverage industry, with a famous invitation from Jobs. Do you want to sell sugar water for the rest of your life, or come with me and change the world? At first, the partnership seems like a perfect bridge between creativity and management. But tensions grow as the company scales. Sculley favors predictable growth and market discipline. Jobs insists on bold bets and tight control of product direction. The conflict is not merely personal, it's a split over strategy and identity. By AD 1985, the board is caught between a charismatic founder and a CEO promising stability. Sales numbers, marketing plans, and organizational charts become proxy weapons in a fight about what Apple should be. The climax arrives in a boardroom showdown where the board effectively sides with Sculley. Jobs is marginalized, his direct reports reassigned, and he finds himself without the authority he needs. Facing the choice between internal exile and leaving, Jobs chooses to depart. The outcome is sanitized in press releases as a resignation, but for Jobs, it is exile. He leaves the company he created, and the global stage feels suddenly distant. AD 1985. Steve Jobs walks away and does what he always did. He starts over. He founds NeXT, a company that aims to build the perfect workstation for higher education and software development. NeXT is expensive, beautiful, and engineered to extremes. The machines are technically advanced but commercially niche. Their price and timing limit adoption. In parallel, AD 1986 brings a decision that will age like a rare wine. Jobs buys the animation division of Lucasfilm and renames it Pixar, paying $10 million and assuming a risky, patient role as an investor and CEO. Pixar at first is a hardware and graphics studio, but its storytelling technology and eventual pivot to feature animation set the stage for a cultural renaissance. These years of exile are not failure, they are laboratories. NeXT refines software architecture and user interface thinking that will later enter Apple's bloodstream. Pixar teaches Jobs the art of long-form storytelling and the value of creative teams with extended timelines. Exile forces curiosity, humility, and a different kind of leadership, less hubris, more craft. It is here that the seeds of Apple's rebirth quietly take root. AD 1996. Apple is struggling. Multiple product lines, confusing strategy, and sagging sales send the company into a near existential crisis. The board looks for solutions and makes a decisive move: buy NeXT for its software and talent. The acquisition is announced in AD 1996 for $429 million. Jobs returns not simply as a founder, but as the keeper of NeXT technology and a unifying force. He first comes back as an advisor, quickly proving that the blend of product focus and ruthless prioritization the company needs still lives in him. In AD 1997, Apple names him interim chief executive, a surprising move that unsettles markets and energizes the product teams. The return is not magic. It is a sequence of ruthless choices: cut product lines, refine a brand identity, and focus design on clarity and surprise. Jobs' exile had given him practical lessons about institutions, about pacing, and about the limits of charismatic control. Re-entry is also political. He must rebuild trust while reshaping a company that had grown without a single coherent product soul. The stage is set for Apple to stop being a software company that makes hardware and to become a curated experience company that designers dream about. AD 1998 through AD 2007. Recovery is surgical. Jobs strips away clutter and forces product focus. The iMac in AD 1998 is a declaration of design intent, color, personality, and an argument against beige. The iPod in AD 2001 simplifies music into a small, desirable object and redefines the music industry. The iPhone in AD 2007 remakes what a phone is in software-first terms. These breakthroughs are not accidents. They are lessons from exile combined with an obsession for controlled ecosystems and user experience. Technically complex systems are disguised as simple, elegant products. The miracle is also managerial. Jobs learns to hire strong partners like Jony Ive and to blend tyrannical taste with team craftsmanship. But this era is also a reminder of the other side of Jobs' personality. His demands could be brutal and morale could fray. Yet the commercial impact is undeniable. Apple's market cap and cultural reach balloon, and the company becomes synonymous with the idea that design can be strategy. The exile is now a distant memory, reframed as a necessary detour that taught lessons only experience can teach. Steve Jobs' exile from Apple is more than a biographical footnote. It is a teacher for leaders and builders. Exile forced him to refine tools, to learn patience at Pixar, and to rethink system architecture at NeXT. When he returned, he did not merely reclaim authority. He translated lessons into discipline, ruthless prioritization, product theatricality, and a refusal to confuse features with value. The leadership lesson is twofold. First, cultural toxicity can burn both brilliance and institutions. Second, enforced distance can give perspective, and perspective can become the raw material for reinvention. Apple itself becomes a testament to cycles: founding chaos, institutional stability, and then a creative recentering that blends the two. Today, the company and the myths around it often emphasize effortless genius. The truth is messier and more useful: genius plus exile plus iteration. For founders and managers, the paradox is clear. Sometimes the fastest route to influence is a detour through loss. That is the core of this exile story. Not tragedy and not mere comeback, but a disciplined transformation that reshapes technology and business for decades after. I hope this deep dive gave you a new perspective on the strategies and the relentless mindset behind these global icons. If you enjoy deconstructing business empires and tech legends in this Tech Archive style, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications. That way, you will never miss a new blueprint of history.
For those of you ready to explore more boardroom coups and technological breakthroughs, I have handpicked 2 videos for you right here on the screen. Click one to keep watching. I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.